Church, I want to take just a moment to talk to you about our brand new series we just started last week, Radical Impact, a Life Worth Living. I am so excited about this particular sermon series because it deals with relationships, our relationship with God and our relationship with others. I stated last week that our purpose in this series is to understand the connection between relationships and making disciples. There's a very distinct relationship here. We must understand if we're going to win people to Christ. And it starts in our hearts, and it starts with our relationship with God being right with Him, being right in our relationship with other people so that we can impact the world with the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's really what it's all about. Now, this will take several months for us to unpack this, to lay it out, to understand it. But it all begins with our understanding of relationships. Plain and simple, life is about relationships. First with God, then with others. See, God made us for relationships. We can't get away from them. Sometimes we want to, but really, we're always drawn back to them. I thought about it like this. Have you ever in the summertime noticed in a house that has a screen door on it, how there's flies on the inside and then there's flies on the outside? I had a wise man tell me one time, he said, you ought to observe those flies. The ones on the inside want to get out, and the ones on the outside want to get in. He said, can you explain that to me? And we talked about it. And really, that's how relationships are. Oftentimes, those on the inside that have relationship, they want to run away from them and get away from those relationships. Then the time comes when they want to get back to those relationships. That's the flies on the outside wanting to get in. Why is that? It is because God made us for relationships. So how do you deal with that? How do you handle that? Well, the best way to do it is to understand what God says about relationships, have healthy, balanced relationships as God designed them to be. So that's what we want to understand, is how to do that. In fact, some of you today that are listening to this video, if you have some struggles in relationships, it impacts every aspect of your life. And until you figure that out, there are things that are going to just not be quite as they should be in your life. Let me tell you something about relationships. Relationship problems, relationship challenges, even relationship traumas that we have. They may be from a past relationship or a present relationship or even possibly both things interacting together that impact how we live our lives today. So we've got to understand this. Unresolved relationship problems, challenges, and traumas, they'll disrupt our lives. In fact, they can destroy our lives if we don't deal with them. We've got to deal with those relationships if we're going to ultimately impact the world with the gospel. Let me just say it this way. God is all about restoring relationships. Satan, he's all about destroying relationships. There's a verse over in John chapter 10, verse 10, that says this. It says, the thief, speaking of Satan, comes only to steal and to kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. You know what that means? It means abundant life, life that works, relationships that work. But Satan has come in order to steal, kill, and destroy. And we need to grasp this. We've got to understand this if we're going to effectively make disciples. The one thing I want you to experience is peace and purpose in your relationships. And so for that to occur, in the weeks ahead, we're going to see what God has to say about healthy relationships, first with Him, then with others, so we can impact the world with the gospel of Jesus Christ. I can't wait to share these truths. I look forward to studying God's Word with you in the weeks ahead. It's going to be exciting to see what God's going to accomplish in and through our lives for His glory.